winter comes, it does not, and this is not just the winter. We are heading into what I'm going to call the long night. It's not going to just be 6 months. We're talking about a global reset for the world.
If you receive SNAP benefits or food stamp, you need to pay attention closely because this is just breaking news coming out that starting
Abundance, and gratitude to all. Kevin Samuels spoke about this time right here. He said it's not just going to be a few months. This is going to be a global reset for the entire world. I told you, Mother Universe uses us down here to speak her universal word, especially those that don't have, those that really care about the future of their race. See, people can say whatever they want about Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels truly cared about the future of his race. He cared about men. He cared about, men's mental health when no one else really cared about us outside of Scheherazade. Now, she definitely did. But Kevin Samuels came along and he didn't speak down on women. He wanted to uplift women so they can be better women to men and be better mothers. And he spoke about this time that we are in right now. Now, did he know the significance? Like, did he know how it was going to come? No. Did he know it was going to do to the fact that the sun, the radiation levels and so forth and so on? No. But he clearly stated that this was going to be a significant change that's going to take place. It's going to be a major reset. So I'm going to let this video play just in honor to my man, Kevin Samuels, for him speaking about the future, him tapping into his intuition. Respect to you, Kev.
Now people are required to, and when winter comes, it does not, and this is not just the winter. We are heading into what I'm going to call the long night. It's not going to just be 6 months. We're talking about a global reset for the world.
If you receive SNAP benefits or food stamp, you need to pay attention closely because this is just breaking news coming out that starting November, you probably are not going to be receiving any benefit.
Well, it's official. Corporate America is cucked. You hear the news that Nestle is announcing a 5-figure layoff. We are talking about 16,000 employees.
Word on the street is that Oracle is going to lay off about 10,000 people sometime in Q4, maybe December.
Basically, what women are hoping that single men who had no family, no children, and have been locked out of the sexual marketplace because of this hypergamy will somehow come and save their lives.
River TV. What's up, guys? It's your girl River, and I'm back again with another video. So if you guys are unaware, obviously we know that we are in the middle of a government shutdown. I had briefly touched on it in another conversation in which, we kind of explained, or we went through everything in regards to why the shutdown is happening, the anticipated length of the shutdown, and the reasoning behind it.
There's too many people that don't understand why the government is shut down right now. So I'm going to try to make this easy. A few months back, they passed something called the Big Beautiful Bill. The Big Beautiful Bill cut $1 trillion worth of Medicaid funding over the next 10 years. And they're saving that $1 trillion in a couple of different ways. First, they introduce work requirements for able-bodied citizens. This means if you can't prove that you're disabled, then you're required to work to receive Medicaid. You have to prove that you've either worked or volunteered or studied for a minimum of 80 hours a month. That's only 20 hours a week. Second, they made it to where you have to verify your qualification every 6 months. Before the Big Beautiful Bill, people could apply for Medicaid and then just remain on it. But now people are required to re-qualify every 6 months, proving that they put in that time at work or volunteering or studying. But if they'd rather just sit at home and be lazy rather than being a productive member of society while they're perfectly capable of being a productive member of society, then they'll lose their benefits. And that's how it saves the government money for healthcare to be used towards people that actually need it. So that's the first way that the Big Beautiful Bill is working towards saving $1 trillion over the next 10 years. The second way is a little more difficult to explain, and it involves the hospital, the state, and the federal government. But here's a summary of how it works. A patient goes to the hospital, receives their services, and then pays their bill. When the patient pays that bill, they're not only paying the bill, but they're also paying a tax. That tax goes to the state, and the state puts it in a Medicaid fund. Then the federal government matches whatever money was put into that state's Medicaid fund. then all of the money that was put into that Medicaid fund goes towards funding people who are approved for Medicaid. But in the big beautiful bill, they reduced the amount of money that the federal government is willing to put in the state's funds. Since there's less money coming out of the funds because they've eliminated the people abusing the system, they shouldn't have to put as much into the funds. And since they don't have to put as much into the funds, they don't have to tax the American population as much.
Now, nearly a month in, only a couple weeks out, the shutdown started on October 1st. Now it has been announced through so many different channels that food stamp benefits, SNAP benefits, are going to be shut off coming November 1st.
If you receive SNAP benefits or food stamp, you need to pay attention closely because this is just breaking news coming out that starting November, you probably are not going to be receiving any benefits. So just in less than 2 weeks, food stamps will be discontinued unless the government shutdown that gets fixed. Unless the government is back open at this current rate, it looks like food stamp is not going to have enough money to be given out in November if the government is still shut down. So
well, obviously, we know that, food stamps is given to a plethora, a variety of people, right? It affects, people who are on disability, people who are unable to work, people who are elderly, people who are on unemployment, men and women alike, single fathers. It affects a plethora of other people.
Hey, I'm on EBT, bro. Hey, that's wild. Hey, look, bro. Calm down, bro. I'm on EBT, straight. Look. Say my name, bro. That shit. I had to go up in there by my face with a bell.
What I really wanted to hone in on is the fact that the good, unfortunately, have to suffer for the bad. And what I mean by that is, there's so many conversations circulating currently in the era that we're in where women are like, they're not even willing to go 50-50 with a man. He has to come and he has to pay all their bills, all of these things. And this is something that Kevin Samuels talked about. He talked about, winter is coming, winter being here, but then he literally specifically talked about something that he called the long, dark night.
Winter is coming. Winter is coming, and when winter comes, it does not, and this is not just the winter. We are heading into what I'm going to call the long night. It's not going to just be 3 months. It's not going to just be 6 months. We're talking about a global reset for the world.
Not only did he talk about, a community in Japan that was literally withering off based off of the choices that they were making at that time.
I have been studying this for the better part of 2 years. Look at what's going on in South Korea and Japan. You think it's a joke? You think it's a game? There are villages in Japan where people are outnumbered by freaking dogs. I'm not kidding. Japan is dying. An aging population and a group of people who are not dating. They're not dating. They're not marrying. They're not getting together. You know what it's called? Hikikomori.
Ironically enough, he also mentioned that a grand portion of black women were employed by the government.
The people who have not been working will be forced to go back to work because the children must be in school. The daycares that are left will be there. What are you going to do if you go and have a job and you've been downsized, you've been automated? How many people have been to a McDonald's recently? And you'll notice that the most of the front register staff is gone. It's kiosks. The largest two employers in our community of black women are federal government and retail. Retail is dead. We have 26.4 square feet of retail space for every American. The next largest developed country has 6. We have 6 times too many retail spaces. This is why you're seeing dying malls across the country. And what's going on? Because so many women are not being told to think about their long term. This is coming as a surprise.
Now, how do we know that to be true? We see it every time we open social media, right? Where women will, bash the man who says that he's, fatherless and he doesn't want to be a stepfather. And then, create these proclamations of what a good man is and how you need to come in and take care of their family and, do all the above for them.
I'm not going 50-50. Been there, done that, never will do it again. Because let me tell you something. You mean to tell me I still gotta go to work, make money, pay 50% of the bills, then gotta come home, cook dinner, take care of the kids, pick them up, drop them off at school, wash, fold clothes?
So as a black man with black women that do have children, I would expect you to want to step in for women who have children. The majority of us black women are single mothers. And since we are, and you want to date us potentially, then it would be your role to step in.
Now, like I said before, it is a sense of people suffering for the bad, because they're, you know, the reason why these assistants are there is because people do need them, right? And so I understand, like, a lot of people are, you know, may watch this video. There's going to be, you know, somebody that you know who's connected to it, somebody who is, you know, whether, like I said before, elderly or disabled or whatever, who genuinely need the benefits, and everybody is suffering based off of, one, the government shutdown and them not being able to all come to a conclusion on how they're going to move forward. But then separately, you know, there's been an overturn that we saw based off of a video I did many moons ago on how this whole entire thing was kind of like constructed, where, you know, people became reliant and pushed the man out and started to garner you know, funds and support in lieu of the government in replace of having a man in the home.
The man in the house rule was written to prevent welfare cheating, to make sure that aid to families with dependent children would go only to families headed by mothers. But the effect of the man in the house rule is to create for children an atmosphere of investigation and surveillance. And thus, the welfare system in its operation turns out to be a system to make life harder for children.
The welfare system helps the disintegration of the American family. It offers money to families if the fathers will leave them and stay away, in that sense undoing the very stability of the family and taking away one of the two parents the children, of course, need. And what I have seen, I'm afraid to say, all over the country is that the legal system works against the best kind of home for these children.
Now, to be clear, I actually like to steer clear of these conversations, anything in regards to politics, because I don't know if you guys are aware, but I'm very aware of the pipeline, right? And I'm for the people. I'm just going to keep it real. I'm for the people. But I'm very aware of the pipeline and how in close proximity, holding women accountable and also talking about traditional women is also connected to, you know, strong spearheaded belief systems in which it's kind of like a one size fits all. We paint everybody with one brush. Hence why I keep mentioning the fact that this is going to affect a lot of people, not just the women who push the men out, and not just the women who have been supported from the system and have relied on, you know, the system to pretty much be in charge of finance and raise their kids. Not just that, it's going to affect a lot of other people. And it's so crazy because this is happening right before the biggest food holiday, right? Like, you know, the holiday created called Thanksgiving is now going to be, you know, a very touchy situation for a lot of people. A lot of people. And then it's also going to affect the economy in a certain way, because a lot of people are not, you know, going to be able to go to grocery stores and buy food and stuff like that. And so that's going to have an effect on everyone. It's going to lead to possible inflation in the long run because of the turn that they need to make, and that, you know, they are dependent on making certain amounts of money. It's really a mess. It really is. But again, I wanted to mention that, like we said before, that for all of the women who talked about for a long time before, you know, they thought that winter is coming was a farce. They thought that, oh, you know, it would never affect me. Who cares? I don't care about all these things that you guys are saying. I don't need a man. I could do battle by myself. You know, all of these thought processes that a lot of women had to the forefront, they are literally seeing it play out in real time.
Basically, what women are hoping that men, single men who had no family, no children, and have been locked out of the sexual marketplace because of this hypergamy will somehow come and save their lives. Not going to happen. It is going to be survival of the fittest.
Kevin Samuels had the conversation so long ago, and it's like, you know, I don't know, but it's like every time you turn around, everything that he said is coming more and more to fruition. It already was, but it keeps going deeper and deeper and deeper. And now people are starting to wake up and realize, wait, Now we see the reason for family. Now we see the value in community. Now we see the value in two heads coming together and being better than one. Now we see the value of, two people bringing two incomes into a household to do better than just relying on one. Now we see the importance of that. Now you get it. This is a tough situation. I'm wondering what's going to happen, right? Like, regardless, I don't know if they're coming to any kind of agreement within the next, 11 days. I don't really see that happening. And so November 1st will come. And, obviously a lot of people are not going to, be able to just buy the basic necessities of food. And the way how I see this stuff going, it seems like the government shut down. A lot of people lost their jobs. I don't know if them jobs are going to reopen. Because if they're learning to function without you, then maybe they're going to create different, spaces where they won't need to do that. And then it's like the worst timing, too, because this job market is declining. There's so many stories of different companies laying off workers. And so it's not even like a place where people can even turn and say, oh, people should just get a job. What job? What job?
Well, it's official. Corporate America is cooked. You hear the news that Nestle is announcing a 5-figure layoff. We are talking about 16,000 employees. This is coming under the new CEO who is laying off people in the name of automation, restructuring, using AI and automation to replace people. But that's not what's most concerning. What's most concerning is Nestle just had record-breaking profits. So they're making a ton of money. They're doing really, really well. But for 16,000 people who are going to be replaced by technology, they wouldn't have even seen this coming. They helped the company become profitable. They helped the company do well, and they are rewarded by losing their jobs to automation and technology.
Well, it appears that the profit over people playbook in big corporate's about to strike again. Word on the street is that Oracle is going to lay off about 10,000 people sometime in Q4, maybe December, after laying off 3,000 quietly earlier this year. All coming after record-breaking stock performance as well as financial performance. Net revenue, net profit, everything is up. I believe the quote I saw somewhere is Oracle is demonstrating exceptional financial strength with robust revenue growth. So what better time to lay off 10,000 people and disrupt their lives?
This is a big deal. I'd like to know you guys' thoughts on this entire situation in the comment section. If you know people who are going to be affected, if you're going to be affected, if just your thoughts on this entire situation. And, I keep saying on a consistent basis, like I said before, that Kevin Samuels keeps being proven right over and over again. And it's the truth. It's the truth. I'd like to know your thoughts, like I said, in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And I will see you guys in the next one. Love you. Riva TV.
All right, so let me just add on to this real fast. It's going to be very sad, but I said this before. Women that have children by males already, get back with your baby father. Get back. Now, if your baby father can't think, your baby father is a reactive person, your baby father is lost, don't get back with him, and don't allow him inside of your home. That's the whole thing. You have to be able to be strong enough to do that. Don't allow him in your home, because guess what? The little bit of food that you have for you and your children, what you think he's going to do while he's there? No, at all. Don't do that. However, those that separated from your baby father because your income matches his income, or you exceed his income, and you can't be told what to do, and whatever the case may be, let me explain something to you. Get back with him. Get back with that man. And those that don't have children, build a bond with sisters. I'm not going to never tell a woman to go run into a man's arm. Don't do that, because let me tell you something. This is going to be a serious time that is coming our way. This will be worse than slavery, my people. And I want you to understand that. The reason why this is going to be worse than slavery is because during slavery, we had an understanding and overstanding who our enemy was. This time, our enemy can be us. This is why the Matrix was so important. This is why Morpheus told Neo. He said, look around. What do you see, Neo? Carpenters, doctors, teachers, lawyers. He said, the very minds of the people that we want to free. But until these people's minds are free, you must understand that any one of these people can be an agent. So even our own people, Now, people will oh, this fear mongering. Let me explain something to you. Before we were enslaved, before we were physically enslaved, our ancient ancestors, our ancient mothers and fathers, grandmothers, great grandmothers, spoke about us going into slavery. They said if we continue to act like this, there is a dark road that we are heading down. Guess what? Nobody said they were fear mongering then. You know what they said back then? Apparently, a lot of us had to say, man, we ain't worrying about that. We too great. Ain't nobody going to be able to enslave us. And not realizing that we was dealing with extraterrestrials that was patient, extraterrestrials that were devious, and that they would do anything to achieve their goal. And yes, they have. Now their reign, their power is coming to an end, which makes them even more dangerous. So again, you can make you can make any decisions that you want, that you feel is healthy for you. That's fine. But the best advice that I can give you, if you have a competent baby father, you have a competent father to your children, you need to get back with him. You need to swallow your pride and say, enough is enough. Baby, I need you in my life for this future, for our children. We need to get through this. You need to swallow your pride. Now, if you don't have one that is competent, you have one that is a reactive person that's going to jeopardize you and your children, do not let this individual in your life. Do not let this individual in your house. Women who don't have children, you better build a serious bond with sisters that ain't going to be crying, complaining, whining, none of that. And not the ones that's going to influence you to go run to the arms of the government. You need to build a bond with true sisters. And guess what? The sisters that you may be building a bond with may not even be any of your relatives. It may not be any of your relatives. Remember, you have the family that you were born into, and you have your earth family. You have the family that you were born into, the family that you create, and you have your earth family. So you need to build that bond, because this is going to be a time that listen, y'all have to get together like fingers on a hand. Just try to use your hand with in -2 fingers and see how hard it is to pick up a plate. See how hard it is for you to navigate things. Just put 2 of your fingers away. Don't make a difference with 2 fingers. Just put 2 of your fingers down and then try to move around and lift up things and try to operate with just the other 3 fingers. And see how hard it is. You're going to have to come together like fingers on a hand. That's the only way we are going to get through this. Now, on another note, let me just show y'all something. Pause. Okay, that video that I did with 3i Atlas, they won't allow me to download that video. Anytime I do a recording on Instagram, anytime I do a live on Instagram, they put your video to the side, and that way you can download it to your phone. They will not allow me access to this video. Look at what's happening in the top right hand corner. It's spinning. Now watch when I hit the download. Failed. See, this is what I'm telling you. You can talk about God, Allah, Jesus, Yahshua, Yahweh. You can speak about that. You can even speak about slavery. You can speak about that, because those things get you nowhere. You can speak about a war in the heaven between different species that gets you nowhere. It has nothing to do with growth and development for your species. But the moment you start speaking about genetics, DNA, the moment that you start using your intuition, your third eye, your first eye, not your third eye, your first eye, the moment that you start using that and that you tap into something and you can see the future unfolding, this is what happens. They won't even allow this video to be downloaded to my phone so I can load it up on another social media platform. Tell me that ain't some deep shit. That's why I say I know who's watching my videos. I know who's watching them. And guess what? They're not just watching my videos to see if I'm speaking about the future and if that I can see the forest beyond the trees. That's not what they're doing. You must understand, these are meat eaters. These people don't, these entities, these extraterrestrials, yes, they have intelligence, but they could never scratch the surface of what you and I can do. The ones that genetics match the sun and the cosmos, the ones that are walking in the flesh on this planet, they could never see as far as we can see. So they use our videos and watch us to see what we're talking about, to see and put these stories together to say, okay, this is what's happening. This is how I see the future. And do they see what's happening? Do they see this unfolding? Yes, we do. I told you, I can feel you now. I feel my brothers and sisters are here, but I feel your fear as well. You are in fear now of us knowing in who you truly are. You want my people to be in the dark and make it believe that you came from outer space and you're some savior. You've been here for quite some time playing fake God. And now your reign is at an end and you're hoping that you can fool the masses, not your own species that you created, but the organic species whose genetics match the sun and the cosmos, who's walking in the flesh. That's who you really want. You always wanted us. You just mask it up with your other species. We know what you want free access to. My mother, her genetics, her universal gene code, something you can see, but you could never obtain. Pause. Here we go right here, people. Just so this, we can show this. I can show this real quick. Look at this here. September 24th to October 23rd. Views, 2.4 million. 2.4 million. It says new followers, 1,236, right? But guess what? This number right here, 84.6, they keep me at this number or they make it go backwards. I already know what's happening. I know who's watching my videos. The time is now. I told you the domino, if they don't sign this government package for food stamps, Social Security, I'm telling you, I don't see them doing it. But if they don't sign it, I'm letting you know right now, my people, this is just one of the dominoes and it's starting to fall. It's going to fall rapidly. I value you. I appreciate you all. Abundance and gratitude.